Today, we're talking about mindset, because this is the third component in sports and performance that's talked about by many coaches, fitness and nutrition being the first two. So it's only right that I talk about it today, giving you my take on what it means in dancers' performance. Hello, my name is Anadra Deanna, aka Dr. Bourne, and I am a naturopathic doctor by profession and dancer by passion, and here teaching you how to live the holistic athlete lifestyle that you deserve. If you're interested in understanding how to better support your health while also pursuing your performance dreams, then hit that subscribe button and keep on watching. So what is your mindset? It's kind of a buzzword going around in the health and wellness spheres, but simply put, it's how you think. Whether positive or negative, it's the way that you form your thoughts and how they shape the way that you present yourself in the world and also how others see you. A big thing that's moving around is the terms of a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. Whereas a fixed mindset is you're always stuck in your ways and you're not really thinking about changing what you're thinking or the way that you're thinking. And then there's the growth mindset that means that options are endless. The way that you think right now doesn't have to be the way that you think always. You're able to adapt, you're able to change, you're able to grow. In a previous video, I shared my thought process in how I create a workout routine, and that was a workout that was preparing me to go to a competition in LA. Well, safe to say, I'm back from that competition, and I have some recaps that I want to share with you, and a lot of it has to do with the mindset that I had going into the competition and also coming out of it. And I'm going to frame it into different buckets that I truly believe are very common within the dance world. So let's get into it. First, I'm going to talk about the people. For one thing, it was an amazing competition. I absolutely loved it. And it was the first competition that I had been to since being a teenager. Now, when I was younger, I was competing in ballet and jazz. And this is the first true competition that I was in for ballroom or Latin hustle, for those who know what that style is. I do have to say, when I got there, I was surprised at the different people who were there. I've been doing ballroom dancing since I was 16, and when I was 16 doing ballroom dancing, it wasn't really the cool thing to be doing, but now it is. There was a lot more of a younger crowd in LA, and that was so exciting for me because now I wasn't the youngest in the room by at least 10 years, which was amazing. And it's funny, the thoughts that went through my head, because I see all of these younger people here and be seeing them, also me thinking they're better dancers than me. And then my brain going like, well, I liked it before it was cool, so why are they better than me? And that definitely shouldn't be the thoughts that are going through my head. As the weekend went on, it changed. I definitely changed my thought process and the mindset that I had when looking at these dancers, because it was really nice being in a beautiful community of dancers again, especially after having been apart for so long and not being able to dance in groups and communities over the past 2-3 years. I think this is just something that is very common within the dance industry, to always think negatively about yourself and about your own skills compared to other people. When I spoke to these other dancers, I would tell them that they were amazing and I loved their style, and in the back of my head, I was envious of how well they were doing, but then they would also be giving me that feedback as well. They would be saying that I was a very good dancer. They would be saying that they were impressed by the way that I moved and they wanted to learn about more from me. And it was really nice because some of the younger generation of dancers were actually looking up to me. And that really changed the way I thought too. They were bringing a new thing into the style of the dance versus what I was bringing into it, versus what the more experienced dancers from me were bringing into it. If you're thinking that you're the best in the room, then there's no room for improvement. Versus if you think that there's something that you can take from anyone, whether they're experienced or less experienced or bringing something different to the table, then that can be something that you take in yourself and improve your skills that way too. Another thing that I thought was amazing was that everyone was leading and following. So in ballroom, the concept is that there's a leader and there's a follower and they're dancing together because it's a partner dance. I've had my lessons and I did a teacher training program, so I know how to lead and I know how to follow, but I'm not as good socially leading as I am socially following. But these younger generations, it's clear that in their classes, they're doing both and they're practicing both. And then they're going out onto the dance floor and socially dancing both. And I think it's so important to be able to have that ability to do both roles, because doing both roles actually makes you a better dancer in both roles. Like, I know how to lead and follow, and I've always said that that has made me a better follower because I know how to answer the leader better, because I know what they're trying to get me to do. And the same thing when I'm leading, I know what it feels like to do those moves so I can get my follower to dance them better. And this can work in any style as well. Like, this is just the concept of dancing different styles and dancing different dances so that you can take the concepts from other styles, other genres, and bring them into your core genre so that you make it more dynamic. You make it more interesting for yourself and for the audience out there too. Next, I'm going to talk about the competition. Now, like I said, I haven't competed since I was a teenager, and boy, do those habits come back fast. And I mean the negative habits that I used to have. The negative mindset that I used to have before a competition. And yes, there's those positive stressors that you can have in terms of the butterflies in your stomach and a little bit of anxiousness that gets your adrenaline pumping so that you're ready to go on stage. But then there's the negative habits as well of me not really eating before I go on stage for fear of whatever it could be. I think I used to say, like, I might get cramps or something. But really, what I should be doing is having a snack beforehand, having that light carbohydrate, those simple carbohydrates beforehand, so I have those energy surges, which will help that adrenaline running. And I'm having the simple sugars because I have my adrenaline, which is taking the blood away from my digestive system, so I'm not digesting foods properly. And that makes sense to me. But not eating at all is not something you should be doing because you're going to be using a lot of energy. You're going to be using a lot of energy and you're going to get tired, and you're going to get tired, you're going to get sloppy, and then your competition's not going to be as good. That's how it works. So yes, those habits came back, that mindset came back, and I had to fight myself on that, especially with knowing what I know now and understanding the concept of how my body works and how nutrition plays into that as well. And so I made sure to have my snacks. I made sure to have my snacks because I wasn't going on until late in the afternoon or late in the evening on the second round of my competitions. And the later it gets, the less I would eat, and that's not okay. And that, again, is a thought process, thinking I need to be doing this for myself. I need to be doing this to take care of myself so that my competition dances will be better. And that is a little bit of peace of mindset in terms of the competitiveness. Outside of the butterflies in my stomach, outside of worrying about getting on stage, I need to remember that it's not just about what goes on stage. It's about behind the scenes as well. Okay, I cannot talk about competition in the dance world without talking about comparisonitis. Yes, comparison was still very strong within me. Like I had said, when I was looking at the new dancers that are around when I was coming into the competition and not even competing yet, that was still happening. I was still comparing myself to all of the people around me. But worse yet, I was comparing myself to my partner. Because like I said, in ballroom competition, I have a partner with me. Yes, I danced with my teacher, but I also competed in heats where I had a partner. The thing is, I know that my leader was at a higher level than me. He had been dancing for a little bit longer than I had in terms of the ballroom and the hustle. So I knew he was better than me. And the comparison that I had was comparing myself to him and thinking that I was going to be pulling him down. And those were the negative self-thoughts that I had, which were going to determine how I was going to be dancing with him. If I had continued down that path, I was completely going to be worried about how I was doing, how I was performing. I was taking him down. I'm not as good as him. All of those negative thoughts that are not beneficial or not useful for having a good dance, especially since we are a team. The thoughts that are more important to have in my head was the fact that we are a team, that we are working together, that he's going to be there to support me as I'm going to be there to support him. Yes, he had been dancing longer in terms of hustle, but I've also been dancing longer in terms of all of the different styles that I have and all of the different competition experience that I have, so I know what to expect. This is information that we both could share with each other. And this is something that we could both gain from each other as well to make sure that we had that good dance and we knew how to talk to each other, we knew how to communicate on the dance floor. And being confident and happy about each other and about our partnership is also going to be better communicated to the judges when we're dancing together. So, moral of that story, we're in this together. Whether you are doing a pas de deux or you're a partner dancer in a hustle competition, you're working with the person, not against the person that you're dancing with. And so working as a team is going to be the mindset you're going to want to have. Now, a lot of these mindset pieces have been introspective and outrospective at the same time. So me comparing myself to other people, the other dancers out there, the competition on the floor, my partner. But now I'm just going to focus in on me. And that's something that is definitely very prominent within the dance world. Because a lot of the times when you're thinking about it, you're in competition with others, but you're also in competition with yourself. Dance in general is a very introspective sport. It forces us to focus in within our bodies and figure out all the movements that we're doing and think about how we're moving in space, moving around each other. And with all of the mirrors that surround the studios that we practice in, it's only natural to look at our bodies and think about how we're moving and how we're going about everything, especially as an aesthetic sport. I will say this, I was never the smallest girl in the class, and I was never the best dancer in the class. And that kind of stuff sticks with you, especially as you're a preteen or teenager growing up and thinking about yourself and also not looking like everyone else in your class. As I've grown, I know I've become a better dancer in different ways, and I know that I also still have things to work on in others. Those butterflies in my stomach never went away. And also, they're not really supposed to go away completely because that's part of those positive stressors that I told you about before that help the adrenaline run and so that you can actually get on stage and have the blood flowing in your muscles that are necessary to have a good performance. What's not beneficial is coming off stage and thinking that you did a terrible job. And that's exactly what I did. I was in 6 different numbers, and every single time I automatically started thinking about the mistakes that I had made or how I could have turned a little bit sharper or had better pointed in the feet. And automatically, I assumed that I was not better than the other people on the floor with me. It put a damper on my mood, and I was very lucky to have the people around me that would tell me I did a good job. Having those positive affirmations is extremely important for your self-esteem. And so if you can't give them to yourself right now, having those people in your corner who are able to give them to you is absolutely crucial. The irony of it all is I was thinking such negative thoughts about myself throughout the entire time, but lo and behold, I actually placed in 2 of my heats. Yes, I did the work to practice. And yes, I put in the skill and the training with my teacher and with my partner. But I have to say that those negative thoughts weren't founded. They weren't an accurate representation of what was actually going on in the real world. They were just what I was putting on myself and making me not enjoy the experience as much as I could have. Instead, I could have been thinking about how much fun I was having and how impressive it was that I could come back to competition again after all of these years and be pain-free while I was doing it. That's an amazing accomplishment on its own. I'm glad I had those people in my corner to help support me, and I'm glad that I was able to actually show that I know how to do this again. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like to win. Who doesn't? But that's not the point. The point is that the negative thoughts that I have weren't valid. They weren't founded on anything that was actually happening in the real world. These medals around my neck are valid proof that my hard work has paid off and that I have the skills and training to do this again. And that's the information I need to take from this. I need to take the fact that I enjoyed myself at this competition, that others were reinforcing the positives in me and the skill that I have. I need to take away that there are other people out there that I can still learn from, and that when I put in the training and the hard work, that it will pay off. I don't need those negative thoughts and that negative mindset feeding me and causing me to think terribly about my dance skills. I need to look into the past and see the positives that have happened. And I can say that this competition was very much a positive. Thank you for watching this video, and if you want more, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you can follow along and become the holistic athlete that I know you can be. Until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.